CBC News, The World This Hour. I'm Mike Miles. Actor Matthew Perry has been found dead in his Los Angeles home. Reports cite police sources as saying foul play is not suspected. Perry was best known as Chandler Bing on the 1990 sitcom Friends.
I'm not great at the advice. Can I interest you in a sarcastic comment?
Perry put out an autobiography late last year talking about his struggles with addiction while filming that series. Here's what he told Q host Tom Power.
I had a rule that I would never drink or do drugs while working because I had too much respect for the 5 people that I was working with. So I was never wasted when I was working. But I did work extremely hungover. At one point I was shaking so much that if I was going to go from the bookshelf to the table, I'd have to kind of quickly do it and put my hand on the table so I wouldn't shake.
While he was born in the U.S., Matthew Perry spent some of his childhood growing up in Ottawa when his mother worked for then Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. He was going to public school with Justin Trudeau. On X, the former Twitter, Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe offered his condolences, saying Perry was proud to have grown up in Ottawa and was a supporter of the city. Matthew Perry was 54. Israeli troops and commanders are on the ground in Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed the second state of its war against Hamas has begun. Troubling news for civilians in Gaza trying to survive the airstrikes and now the ground war. Margaret Evans has more.
In Gaza, Palestinians will be bracing themselves for another uncertain night. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it the second phase of the war. We have set 2 goals for the war, he's saying: to annihilate Hamas by destroying its military and to do everything possible to bring our hostages back home. The military says it's targeting underground bunkers and tunnels used by Hamas. The Palestinians say it's mainly civilians who are dying. Large parts of Gaza now reduced to rubble, the displaced struggling to find food and water. We want the war to stop, says Noah Halkour. We lost our loved ones, our relatives, and our children, but there is more war on the way. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Jerusalem.
BC Premier David Eby is condemning the rise in hate-related crimes in his province in the wake of that war in the Middle East. He says his office is hearing more and more accounts of anti-Semitic acts, including vandalism of a rabbi's home and more accounts of Islamophobic acts. In Maine, vigils are being planned to mourn the victims of Wednesday's mass shooting. The public safety lockdown is no longer in effect after the suspect, Robert Card, was found dead. Katie Simpson has more from Lewiston, Maine.
There's so many words and not enough words to explain what's happened.
Drew Desjardins says there is some relief now that the suspect, Robert Card, is no longer on the loose.
Mr. Card was located deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Public Safety Commissioner Mike Soschuk says Card's body was found inside an unlocked trailer near the recycling business where he had worked. The area had been previously checked twice by police, but his body was missed both times because officers didn't look through trailers in the overflow parking lot. Investigators found 2 guns on Card and a 3rd in his abandoned vehicle. Officers say Card left behind a handwritten note that had his phone password and some banking details. And while it's not explicitly a suicide note, it indicated Card did not expect to be alive for much longer. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Lewiston, Maine.
And that is your World This Hour. You can listen to us live on your mobile device using the free CBC Listen app or on voice-activated devices like Amazon Echo or Google Home. For CBC News, I'm Mike Miles.
Here is the weather forecast. In Edmonton overnight, partly cloudy with a 30% chance of flurries, low -5. Sunday, mainly sunny, high +1. In Fort McMurray overnight, mainly cloudy with a 60% chance of flurries, low -5. Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a 60% chance of morning flurries, high 0. In Grand Prairie overnight, partly cloudy with fog patches, low -12. Sunday, mainly sunny, high 0.